Within the next 3 weeks, Maf officials will be reporting back to their Minister, David Carter, on the submissions regarding Fonterra's obligation to supply raw milk to independent processors. Maf received more than 1,500 submissions on the Dairy Industry Restructuring Act, and David Carter says he is expecting analysis of those submissions back soon.
I'll then consider the report that comes from Maf. I would then take it up to a Cabinet committee, so for other Cabinet ministers were also involved in some of the decision making. We would then make some decisions around changes to raw milk regulations.
The Minister says the dairy industry has changed dramatically since DIRA was implemented in 2001, and it's now well and truly time for a review.
The dairy industry has matured a lot over those last 10 years, and I think it's completely appropriate that we review those rules. There will be some changes, but until I get that advice from Maf and talk to other Cabinet ministers, it's too early to say what the changes to the raw milk regulations will be.
Labour's agricultural spokesperson, Damien O'Connor, agrees it's time for a review.
The industry was united in its marketing, in particular under the Dairy Board. Deregulation has allowed a whole lot of new players into the market. There is anecdotal evidence of value destruction potentially in the marketplace where there are 1 or 2 or 3 players trying to sell to the same person.
Mr O'Connor says Fonterra fears that independent processors will undercut them in the same markets with the very milk it has supplied them.
I think Fonterra is obviously concerned about chipping away at their place. They are the single biggest trader of global dairy products, and I guess any attempt to undermine that is taken very seriously. They've got to make sure that they have a good understanding with other New Zealand exporters. They've got to make sure that they work with other players such as Westland, such as Tātua, who've been out there for a while. Some of the new players have to understand that they can't just ride in on the back of Fonterra and the New Zealand brand and then come in and undercut.
But dairy industry analyst and sometime independent processor spokesperson Peter Fraser thinks Fonterra has forced the review and is being blatantly anti-competitive.
I think the first point is DIRA was a deal. It was on the basis of the deal that dairy farmers got what they wanted, which was a single company. And part of that deal was a competition policy, and part of that competition policy was that a volume of milk would be made available to anyone who asked for it. And I'm very concerned that Fonterra is now reneging on that.
Mr Fraser believes a domestic dairy auction for independent processors, with fixed quarterly prices based off the global dairy trade auction price, would solve the problems at both ends. It would see independent processors paying a fixed and reasonable price for their milk, while ensuring Fonterra gets a fair price for its milk, he says.
Over the year, all of those quarterly prices put together should be in pretty much within spitting distance of what Fonterra's final price would be. So I think it would actually shed a lot of transparency on the market, and I think it would also, for the independent processors, put them in a position where they either put up or shut up.
Benedict Collins, Country 99 TV News.